Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to this year's Boca Jewish Center Yom Hazikaron, evening of reflection, evening of remembrance, evening of inspiration, our connection to our beloved homeland, and of course, to our beloved soldiers brings us to tonight's program. And while we ache to be in person and look forward to be able to have these gatherings, please God, soon, not only in person, but to be able to do so in person in Yerushalayim, in our beloved homeland, in our beloved Eretz Yisrael. So for tonight's remembrance, evening of reflection, we do so gathered virtually via Zoom. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our esteemed president, Mr. Sidney Sayowitz, who is here with us tonight. I would like to recognize those who are from the Jewish National Fund. Dear friends, I see Lee is on, and I think representing Russell Robinson's office as well. We're looking forward to having a conversation with Yedidya in just a few moments. The partnership and the relationship that we have with the JNF is a very dear and a very cherished one. The work that they are doing and the support that you are supporting them in their endeavor is extraordinary, and we're so thankful. Our community and the Boca Raton Jewish community and all of the communities in the diaspora feel so deeply indebted to and very much connected because of the holy work that the Jewish National Fund is doing. And so tonight's program, we're so thankful to be able to do it together with you and look forward to more programming in person, please God, together. I would be remiss if I didn't, for just a moment, thank our beloved and dear friend, Jerry and Shelley Abramson, who have been steadfast supporters not only of JNF, but of course of our Boca Jewish Center community, and have wed the two of us together in a very extraordinary way. And Jerry has everything to do with tonight's program being brought to fruition. So Jerry and Shelley, we thank you so much for your leadership, for your partnership, for showing us the valuable partnership that is to be had with JNF and our community and how to link us all together. Your work with them and with us is an inspiration for those who know you and for those who don't yet know you to follow your example. And we thank you very much for tonight and for everything. I think it's fitting and it's appropriate for us tonight to frame what we're going to do in our conversation in a short while with Yedidya before we bring him on. I want to begin by sharing with you a personal story. The many stories that I know I've had and experiences with our beloved soldiers, Chayalim, and the stories that I know many of you probably likewise have as well, for those of you who have family members who have served in the Israeli Defense Forces, those of you who have dear friends and community members. A number of years ago, as a yeshiva student studying in Yeshivat HaKotel in the Ir Atika, I went with one of my cousins, and we traveled up north, and we were exploring and vacationing and enjoying the beautiful vistas, the Kinneret, heading up to Tzfat and various other places along the way. And as we were making our way back on our return from Tzfat back to Jerusalem, back to Yerushalayim, so we found our way until we found an intersection that brought us to a crossroads. We had rented a car, and we found ourselves off the path, and we were now in a territory that was not only unfamiliar, but suspicious and frightening. And as the sun began to set, and as we became concerned about our coordinates and our, place where we were, it wasn't easy at that time. Waze was not yet founded, and we didn't know where we were. And we realized that, first of all, we were hoping to be back in Yerushalayim to be able to daven mincha at the Kotel. That was already something that we realized at that point we weren't going to be able to do. But more than anything else, we wanted to get back to Yerushalayim safely. And we were now in this, what seemed to be a dangerous neighborhood. We weren't comfortable, to say it lightly. And out of the corner of my eye, I saw a Degel Yisrael, an Israeli flag. And I realized rather quickly that it was an army base. And I drove up to the army base, and a number of commandos, they came out very curious what two American yeshiva students were doing in a rented car, now in what I then found to be what was a very, very hostile, dangerous, more or less dangerous Arab neighborhood. They came out, and as they questioned us and then found out that we were innocently now lost, I told them of our predicament, and I said that I wanted to know if they have a Beit Knesset on the base. I'd like to daven mincha. I'd like to be able to find safety and refuge. So they said to me, we can't come onto the base because we're not in uniform, but they had something else that they would do for the two of us besides what they ultimately did, which was brought us to the road and gave us what was the first ways and GPS coordinates back to Yerushalayim. At that point, what happened was, I would say 30 or more soldiers came out in full regalia with all of their, the uniform and guns drawn and all of the, the army equipment, as you would expect. And they made a circle around us, and we stood in the middle of the circle. And as they looked at us in our direction, they affirmed with love in their eyes. They turned around and made a circle with their backs towards us. And they had what they were looking out into the distance to make sure that we would all be safe. And one of the members of that battalion screams out, Ashrei Yoshvei Veisecha, and together, all of us davened mincha together, them standing around us. We were standing in the circle. Of course, we then joined the circle. They wouldn't let us, without a neshek, be in the actual circle. But we were protected by them. And I never felt that I had experienced a mincha with so much power and so much kavana. Here I was protected by Almighty God and protected by our beloved soldiers who, without batting an eye, not with a chastising finger, but with tremendous love and welcome, the beloved homeland that they protect, the people of Eretz Yisrael, Artzeinu HaKadosha, that they love and that they're willing to give of their own lives and to sacrifice as they commit in their service to our people and to our homeland and for us. That was maybe the most inspirational mincha I had ever davened. And as they brought us to the road and as they brought us back on our path, I realized not only how lucky we are to have our beloved homeland, but to cherish the soldiers who frontline, sacrifice and give and defend and honor and protect every bit of what is cherished to each and every one of us in every single way. And so every single Shabbat, every Shabbos morning, when we make a Misha Beirach for soldiers, we think of them, we pray for them, we remember those who have fallen. And today, especially when we think of the 23,928 fallen soldiers and victims of terror, we stop, we sound our own siren, we give pause, we reflect, and we do what Jews do best, which is to zachor, to reflect and to remember. The memory of those for whom we remember are with us always. We never forget. We carry their legacy. We live proudly as Jews, and we live as they defended the soil of our beloved Israel in a way that would have made them, and does no doubt make them, so proud. And so here in the diaspora and around the world, we stop, we reflect, we appreciate, and we pray for. I think it's fitting for us, before we engage in our conversation tonight, which I know will leave us all spellbound, inspired, and uplifted. We're soothed by the words of David HaMelech, by King David in Psalms. We'll begin tonight really first by saying one chapter, one kapitel of Tehillim. We'll say the Yizkor for the fallen soldiers of the Israeli Defense Force, and then I will formally introduce Yedidya to tonight's conversation. Chapter 121. Shir Lamalos, Esainai El Hihorim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Ezri Me'im Adonai, Yosei Shomayim V'oretz. Al Yitein Lamoit Raglecha Al Yunum Shoimrecha. Hinei Lo Yonum V'lo Yishan Shoimer Yisrael. Adonai Shemrecha, Adonai Tzilcha, Al Yad Yeminecha. Yemam Hashemesh Le'akeka V'yareach Balayla. Adonai Yishmarcha Mikol Ra, Yishmar Es Nafshecha. Adonai Yishmar Tzeitzcha Uvayecha. Me'ata V'yad Olam. Yizkor Elohim Es Nishmos Chayalei Tzva Ha'agana L'Yisrael. Shemosru nafsham al kidushas Hashem. Ha'am v'ha'aretz v'naflu mos giborim b'milchemes ha'shichror. V'ma'archoi Sinai v'tafkidei ha'agana u'bitachon. Yisharim kolu me'arios gaveru ve'achaltzom le'ezras ha'am. V'hirvu b'damam v'hatohar es rigvei admas kadshenu umidbaros Sinai. Zecher akedosam u'maaseh givurosam lo yasufu meitonu la'olamim. Tiyeno nishmosehem tzururos b'tzror hachaim es nishmos Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yakov, v'im nishmos sha'ar giborei Yisrael, v'kedoshav shebegan Eden. Amen. May God remember the souls of the fighters of the Israel Defense Forces who gave their lives for the sanctification of thy name, for our people and for our land, who died heroic deaths in the War of Independence and in all the many subsequent campaigns and wars and many missions. They were quicker than eagles and stronger than lions to save our people, to defend our people, and with their pure blood soaked the holy earth of Eretz Yisrael, of Israel. The memory of their self-sacrifice and heroic deeds will never, ever perish from us. May their souls be bound in the bond of life with the souls of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and with all of the souls of all of the other Jewish heroes and Jewish martyrs in the Garden of Eden. And now together we say Amen. It's at this time that I have the privilege to welcome our very, very special guest, Yedidya Harush, who our community knows well. This is not the first time Yedidya has addressed our community. We were privileged a number of years ago to host Yedidya in person. And Yedidya, I look forward to being able to welcome you back here to the Boca Jewish Center community very, very soon. And I know, as you no doubt are off to say, you were looking forward to seeing us in Chalutza, in Israel, together with you in our beloved homeland, which we look forward to, please God, in a safe way. And it should be soon. Yemir Hashem. Yedidya's story is an incredible one. Yedidya is a person who I have the privilege to introduce to you, who is truly an Israeli hero. He is a decorated and a very accomplished and a beloved soldier, commander, whose reserve elite Israel Defense Force IDF unit played a critical role during Operation Protective Edge in 2014, when repeated rocket attacks struck Israel mercilessly, helping to secure Israel's Gaza border, communities, and to protect the country all around. He is a special young man who has earned the tremendous accolade from those soldiers that he led and the brigades that he went into territories of great compromise with. He's a proud patriot who has earned a basketball scholarship to high school in the United States, spending years studying abroad in the United States, then returned to his roots in Israel and assumed a key leadership role, helping the evacuees of Gush Katif in Gaza to lead a normal life while their families and homes were in high distress. And now he is a pioneer that is working with the Jewish National Fund to help develop Chalutza and various surrounding areas into a thriving community and turn Ben-Gurion's dream of a blooming and prosperous Negev into a reality. And I could tell you that with my rabbinic colleagues, I'm thankful to JNF for bringing us there a number of years ago. We were able to see firsthand, I being eyewitness to the extraordinary work and the life that Yedidya and his wife and beautiful family live. Dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, it is a tremendous opportunity and a zchus for me to welcome and to introduce my friend Yedidya Harush from Chalutza. And here, as we celebrate and appreciate, I know for you, Yedidya, it is already Yom HaAtzmaut, and the relationship between Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaAtzmaut is a very powerful one and parallels each other. Thank you so much for being here. This is live. Jason, you can bring him in now. Splits, you can share the screen.
Shalom.
Manishma Yedidya. So first of all, Kodem Kol, thank you so much. I know it's already early in the morning, but being that it's Yom HaAtzmaut, I get the sense that the celebration is still early on and certainly underway, 73 years of our beloved homeland. And we're so thankful to you, juxtaposing Yom HaZikaron, where we are, and Yom HaAtzmaut, where you are. But here's where we are, and it is together. I thank you so much for not only your friendship, your leadership, your incredible way and the success that you've had working with JNF. Thank you for being, what time is it already now for you?
Now it's 1 and 5 minutes.
1 and 5 minutes. Okay, Baruch Hashem. We're all on the same time, even though we're at different times. We feel the holiness of Israel. Thank you for staying up late. Yom Ha'atzmaut Sameach. Thank you for being part of our Yom Hazikaron program. Having you just on our screen is meaningful to us. Thank you for being here with us. We love you and we appreciate you so much. So what I thought we would do is, first and foremost, as part of this quote unquote armchair conversation, not only to start by getting to know you, to share with us the meaning of today. Of course, you've served in the IDF with the distinction. Tell us, if you can, a little bit about, your service, serving in the IDF, a little bit of what that was like, with as much as you can share with us, and why this day, as meaningful as it is for you personally, how it is meaningful for us here in Boca Raton and around as well.
Okay, thank you so much, Rabbi, for the opportunity. Your community, I always say, has a very, very special spot in my heart. And I miss you very much, you and the community. It's been a long year that I couldn't get on a plane. The best, the closest thing to a plane that I've seen, it was the, spraying the fields plane that flies over our heads every, here and then. And when I got the big honor to speak here, I'm used to transferring from Yom HaZikaron to Yom HaAtzmaut. I've never had the feeling of going from Yom HaZikaron to Yom HaAtzmaut and now back to Yom HaZikaron. And as I'm thinking about it, I go, whew, this is crazy, but we do what we need to do. You asked me about my service. Well, I was in the paratroopers unit. As you know, the paratroopers unit is a volunteering unit. It's not a unit that you go into. It's not mandatory to go to the paratroopers. You need to do a whole tryout session, and many people. Most people who try out don't get accepted. And my experience being in the army is very positive. I loved my service. I remember my brother was in Golani. Golani is like the rivalry of the nemesis of Tzanchanim, of the paratroopers. And I remember that every time he would come back home, every weekend, he would be all like complaining, we do like some parallel service, and I would come back home always happy. I loved my service. I always felt that it was a special honor to serve, and that I never took it for granted. I became a commander at some point in my during my service, and I had always tried to pass on to my soldiers the feeling that the army is not something that is mandatory, but it's not it's a privilege to serve in the IDF. And it was a one weekend, and we were all, it was like a Thursday night. We were supposed to have late at night a mission. And it means that, we do the mission all night, and then during the day we go to sleep. So it means that we're going to miss out the time to go home. So we're going to stay. Only our group. We're going to stay, on base for Shabbat, not go home. As we're preparing for the mission, I see the soldiers are like, a little upset. And, I was like trying to bang my head to try and make them like really go crazy for this mission. It was a very important mission, and I needed them to be enthusiastic. And at some point, as we're about to leave to the mission, I remember I gathered them in a chet, and I look at each and every one, and I say, You know, soldiers, you have to understand, you know, we are going to go to a mission that is very important to protect our country, our homeland. And then there is a chance that we're going to miss the time because we have to stay and sleep later. That we were going to miss the time and to, to go home, or we'll have to stay on base. But you have to remember something. You know, standing here on this land, on this earth, is not something that we can take for granted. And I pointed at one of the soldiers that I knew his grandfather was a Holocaust survivor. You know, and I'm looking, I go, you see, everybody look at Chaim. Chaim's grandfather has a number on his arm. Chaim's grandfather, his whole family died and got killed because they were Jews, because there was nobody to protect them, because we didn't have a homeland, we didn't have an army. Look at us, look at all of us, what we're wearing. We're wearing the IDF uniform. Look, we have the IDF logo. You know, we go home, we have a Star of David. You know, we can protect ourselves. You know, we can be upset, we can be sad that we're gonna miss the opportunity to go party in Tel Aviv tomorrow night. You know, obviously most of them were, non-religious, but look at what we're doing. We're protecting our brothers and our sisters. We're protecting our homeland. We don't need to run into a gas chamber, or run away from a gas chamber. You know, we don't need to run away in a forest and be afraid that somebody will find us, and that's our end. And you saw the fire in their eyes. You know, this soldier is a tough soldier. Started crying. I said, now guys, go get your gear. Let's get this done. You know, this is what we're doing here. We're not here to serve because of the gun or the beret. It's all nice, but we're here for the main mission. And you saw that for 1 second, how the whole mission switched from, we have to do it, from, wow, like we gotta get this done. This is what we're really here for. So it's an honor for me to serve in the IDF. I actually just got 2 days ago, I got the phone call from my I still do reserve, and I got a phone call from the head of the unit, and he calls me and he says, Yedidya. I said, hey, hi. He goes, listen, one of the groups, their main commander, main officer is leaving. Is going to be the head of the unit after me, because I'm going to be the head of the whole battalion. And here in this, and I need you to fill in this job. And it's a bigger job. It means that I need to do much more now. He goes, would you do it? I said, sure. So he goes, that's it? That's an easy negotiation. He said, what do you want me to do? You need me there, right? He goes, you didn't have a choice to say no anyways, but I thought it would be a longer negotiation. But it's an honor for me to do it. And today was it's a tough day. It's a tough day for me, with lots of hope.
So let's understand a little bit more about that. Thank you so much for sharing that incredible story, and of course the link between Yom Hazikaron and Yom Ha'atzmaut, and then to be able to go back to Yom Hazikaron and connection to Holocaust survivors and the story of one of your soldiers. Very, very powerful. Frame for us, if you can, what this day means for you, what it means for your other commanders and the other soldiers, and what it means for your family. Tell us what today means for you.
I always say that Yom Hazikaron is one compact day that you think about and memorize so many stories. I grew up in Gush Katif, in the Gaza Strip. For me, Yom Hazikaron is not just for the soldiers, but it's also since I was born. I was born in the Gaza Strip, and ever since the 2000 Intifada, second Intifada, when it broke, since that October, I've been I would say gathering more and more friends and family that need to be visited every year. It's not, I used to go to one cemetery, And every year it grows and grows. So now what I do is I visit different cemeteries, and I will share with you two stories, if it's okay.
Please, thank you.
From Yom Hazikaron. It's not an easy day. Okay. So I want to share with you two stories about relatives and a friend that happened to me in my childhood. It's one of the tough stories. I was 16 when I went to a high school in Kiryat Arba. It's called Yeshiva Tichonit Kiryat Arba. And, I was a ninth grader, and I am somebody who loved basketball since I was a little kid. And with me was another friend who also happened to love basketball. We met on the court and found out we loved the same thing. His name was Avichai Levi. He lived in Bet Chagai. Was a tall kid, dark skin. We also happened to have the same phone. Back, in 2003. I went to the school, and we started being friends, and we got closer and closer. We became best friends. Really, we're always together all day, all night. And in 10th grade, on Hanukkah, we went together to a trip in Eilat. And he came to me on Pesach, about 2 weeks before Shavuot. It's coming up. It was a Friday at 4 p.m. I get a phone call from my friend Yair, and he says to me, "Yedidya, how are you?" I said, "I'm okay. How are you?" He says, "I'm not so okay." I said, "What happened?" He said that there was shooting happened in outside Bet Chagai when a car drove by, and there was shooting people in the bus station. And I asked him what happened. He says to me that there were a few kids there, and our friend Nehemiah was standing, got shot in the stomach and in the hand. And also Avichai was there. I said, "Okay, what happened to Avichai?" He said that he went quiet. Said he got shot here where we put the tefillin. He said, "And what's his situation?" He went silent. He went silent. He didn't talk. I understood. He said, "He's dead?" I said, "Yeah, I'm sorry." I hang up the phone. Now I'm 16 years old. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to feel. I've had some losses, but this was a tough one, a really tough one. I remember Sunday afternoon we had a levaya. I had Bagrut history test before. I remember taking it in 5 minutes. I remember it was I felt like it was the stupidest thing I did in my life at that moment. I'm going and I'm walking the levaya left from the Supreme Court of Israel. I'm walking next to a stretcher. My best friend is on it. The Israeli flag is covering him. We're walking to Har HaZitim, to Olive Mount. We're getting there, and I'm burying my best friend. Remember, his father is telling us, he's standing, we're all about to leave, and he's telling all of us. He says, he says to us, "I was part of taking out the Jews from Sinai." That's what he told me. And I felt so terrible afterwards that I did something. I wanted to do something to fix it in his heart. And I went and I started building communities in the Hebron mountain. says, Avichai loved the Negev. He says, Avichai loved Zionism. Avichai loved kids. He loved the periphery. You know, I'm not telling you what to do in your life, but if you can continue his way, that's his best will. That's his best wish, even though he was 16. You know, he had this kid has a big smile. And, you know, I went home. I didn't know what to do. And every year I would come back to visit Avichai in his grave. If it was on his yahrzeit or on Yom Hazikaron, mainly on Yom Hazikaron, I would go just stand by his grave. You know, in the first years was many people. And every year I go back and I tell Avichai, you know, I'm in America, I'm playing basketball, I got a scholarship. We're no longer in our homes. It was the year of the disengagement. And, you know, I come back the next year, I'm 18, I'm graduating high school. And he's still 16, still sitting there. I'm in the army, I'm a paratrooper. I know how much you wanted to be in the army. And I'm continuing away. I'm doing something for Zionism. I'm in the army. You know, Baruch Hashem, about 10 years ago, I went back. And I said to him, you know, Avichai, you're still 16. And here I got married, but I'm continuing your way. I'm building Eretz Israel. And today, 10 years later, we're building 3 new communities in Chalutza, or building in Negev. And that's our best answer to the terror, that we never give up. And even though we cry today, we continue to build our homeland. My daughter asked me this morning, no, not this morning, this 5 hours ago, we're about to go to the ceremony. She goes, Abba, we were crying today. We're lighting candles. How are we going to celebrate? Like, how is it possible? This is our life, complicated. But thanks to heroes and our friends, and obviously Hashem, all those who sacrificed their life, we are able to continue and build our homeland and speak to you from Chalutza and not worry that, you know, Fadayun or anybody will come up the door and kill us, you know, Baruch Hashem.
Wow. What an unbelievable story. What an unbelievable lesson that you've just taught us about carrying the legacy and understanding the responsibility. You know, it's extraordinary to see not only the relationship that you have with Israel and the work that you're doing that's clearly very motivated by being passionate about carrying the legacy of your best friend. Tell us about your family. Has your family also shared stories? Have you had family members that have served, obviously, in the IDF? How do they, do you gather together as a family today? I know that everybody tends to go to the military cemeteries or family cemeteries. Do you get together as a family? Do you have certain tefillot in the Beit Knesset? What's the family gathering circumstance like?
Thank you. So I had an uncle who was killed in his military service. He was in the Air Force, and he's buried in Herzl Mount. As I told you, I need to share my time. Every year I go to different cemeteries. It's an uncle that I grew up with and was very close to me in my family. And I have relatives who are buried in Ashkelon, the Chatuel family. And the story of the Chatuel family is very tragic. It was a little bit before the disengagement as well. And Tali and her 4 daughters. Hadar, her daughter, was with my sister in school. They were our relatives, but also very good friends. She also taught with my mom in Gush Katif. She was driving away from her home in Katif to meet her husband in Ashkelon when a terrorist stood on the side of the road She was 9 months pregnant, and as she's driving, the terrorists shot her and they killed her. When the car pulled on the side, the two terrorists came to the car and shot her womb and each of the babies from zero distance. All of the years, I used to be very afraid to go and visit the graves. I guess it was in a way of dealing with this tragic situation. It was too big for me. Last year was the first year, and 2 years ago, last year we were home. 2 years ago was the first year I went to the cemetery of Ashkelon, and I stood there. I was by myself on Yom Hazikaron, and I thought, okay, here I am. Family usually comes on the outside, and as I'm about to leave, few of the family members just arrived at the very end. That's something that we gather on their yard site usually. That's when we gather on to do their memorial. We do some special tefillot, obviously, in the Mechina here, in the Pre-Army Academy here in Chalutza. We have a special ceremony that we hold every year, especially for the we have about 13 fallen soldiers and sons of the Mechina that were killed either on the terrorist attack or on the different battles. The two heroes, Eliraz and the Peretz brothers. I don't know if you know Miriam Peretz, but her two sons are graduates of our Mechina. So we hold special ceremonies for our communities here. Obviously, we do special tefillot for their neshama, especially in this day, in this very, very special day, very special.
Do you ever have the sense? Thank you for sharing that. Your stories are riveting. They're raw and they touch us all so very much. Do you ever have the sense that, what's unique in your travels, certainly on behalf of JNF and to the United States, you're talking to audiences who appreciate Israel, but obviously see it in many ways, obviously so different than living it and breathing it and serving it, the way you do. Tell us if you can, I know this is kind of on the spot and a little bit extemporaneous, thoughts for how we here in the diaspora, here in Boca Raton and where we're tuning into this broadcast, how we could best serve and how we could partner with soldiers. Every time I go to Israel, for example, we go to Tzomet HaGush together with my children, and we give out food to the soldiers, and we, sing with the soldiers. Last, over a year ago, pre-corona, when my son put on his tefillin for the first time. So I made sure that we put tefillin on at the Kotel, and we also had a very special bar mitzvah celebration at Tzomet HaGush, which we have a very special bond with. Tell me, like the soldiers interacting with us and how we interact with them, what is a meaningful, decipherable, practical way for us to deeply appreciate, the experiences that you've had are personal, they're severe, they're life-changing, I'm sure, and we'll talk about that in a moment. I'm sure that's, as you alluded to, how it's motivated your life work. The emotions of when you say about your building Eretz Yisrael, it's extraordinary. It's miraculous and it's inspirational, and we all are so deeply moved by it. How do we give us a practical tip, a tool, how to connect to soldiers, to relate to soldiers? What do they appreciate and want for us to be doing, if anything, for them, which is what we want to be doing, remembering those who fell, but also honoring those who are serving now?
Okay, so first, I always say that the diaspora jury always make me a better Zionist. It was when I was in high school in America, and it continues every time I come to visit, and every time I see that how much love and the passion and this I always say this, those sparkles in your eyes always. I love it. It's so amazing. It always keeps pushing me, keeps pushing the community moving forward. First of all, come already, come visit us. We love seeing your beautiful faces. We miss you. When I walk around with different people that come from your community and from Boca, I had somebody from Boca, from BRS coming here this week. I stood and I said, I don't know if I should make a bracha. You're my first visitor in a year, and it was, I didn't know how to react. I said, I'm so excited. And every place I took him, everybody was like, oh my God, like you came from America. You're visiting us. Like, we missed you. So just your presence here, seeing you. When you say, we go, when people come, I take them to army base. I take them to see soldiers. To say, wow, you're from America. You came from America to visit us. Thank you. We buy, we always bring some ices, But so that's A. B, for the soldiers, we built we built here a small place for the soldiers where they can have coffee and get cake and different food when they come. We build it in the front of the community.
Is that a pina chama? Is that a pina?
Pina chama with our friend Danny Cohen, lives in BRS, and my friend Glenn Golish. We continue to bring and serve to the soldiers. I can tell you that 2 days ago, our youth went and made dinner, soup, and they went to deliver it in the bases. They went to the soldiers in each like a small patrol or different lookouts. And I can tell you as a soldier, it's a lot more than what you actually eat. It's the warmth. B, we had a plan here that we wanted, and this is a kind of a dream that we had in the community, to build a small place for lone soldiers mainly. That it's like we want to build a place where it's like their vacation weekend, a small, a caravan where they can, rest and come. It's not the home, because home they have, they like to be in the center, but it's like to come here. It's like Gan Eden, I know there are rockets and some craziness, but really, most of the time here, it's quiet and beautiful. And the soldiers for us are a warm spot. I can tell you that everybody in Chalutza served in the army. And when we talk, you find out that everybody had different special missions. My next door neighbor received 2 weeks ago Mitztayen from the Ramatkal, excellence, out of the whole army, 60 people receive every year a special, award from the chief of staff, and he received it. He's a lieutenant colonel, so and he's a very good friend of mine. So our community is very, very up there with joining the army, and your partnership with us, and the fact that we are able, in general, to build the communities here, that ensures that the army can be here. When before we were here, there was no army bases here. Soldiers weren't here. It was the hardest place for soldiers to come and serve in this area, because there was no base, and they would have to be in, on ambushes in the sand. But ever since Chalutza was established, there is an army base here. The soldiers come and they hang out with us, and we invite them for Shabbat dinner and lunch. So in general, your partnership with building our area is incredible, and that itself helps the soldiers. But when we go into more particular, I told you, and just continue to be amazing and continue to be such a great partner with building Eretz Israel. You have no idea how much koach it gives us And my friend Jerry, are you here? Of course you're here. He knows when I call him. When I call him, I say, "Hey Jerry, I'm doing some army time." He goes, "No, okay. You want my card?" And he does a barbecue for us, and he always takes care of us. So thank you, Jerry. And
Yedidya, if you can for a minute, just, I had the tremendous chus to be in Chalutza, and what was remarkable, I mean, for anybody who has never been there, which I imagine there's a number of you who have never maybe ever been there. I know Yedidya, forgive me for inviting them to your home on your behalf, but I know that's what you would want. What's remarkable is we're talking about a place that is desert. And you see the saturation, the greenery, the grass, the life, the building. It's unbelievable. If you can for just a minute, tell us as we transition with you from Yom HaZikaron to Yom HaAtzmaut and the celebration of life, and how to be able to turn the sadness and the pain and introspection and the loss into tradition and Masorah and rebuilding and safeguard and homeland. Tell everybody, if you can, like, what is Chalutza? Where is Chalutza? What have you built? And I know there's a couple other neighboring towns there. Tell us how close you are to the border and what life is like there, and how that has celebrated not only your life mission, your life work, what's like for your wife, what it's like for your children, what's like for your friends, for your family. Where do you live? Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay. So yeah, of course, everybody's invited here. I can guarantee one thing: it will be the best day you ever had in Israel. I know it's a high bar, but I am willing to. It's an awesome place, mainly because obviously the people who live here, are incredible. Rabbi, you know what I found out 2 days ago? There is an organization called Matnat Chaim. This is an organization of kidney donors, people who donate kidneys to others. They don't know. You know what I found out? I found out that per capita, Chalutza is the highest number of kidney donors in Israel. To people they don't know. Like, how crazy is that? So I'm standing next to my friend who I just found out 2 days ago that he donated a kidney. And I go, Jonathan, why did you donate a kidney to somebody else? He goes, what? You know how big of a mitzvah it is? I gave somebody a life. And what did it take from me? Nothing. I have 2 kidneys. Now I have 1. Okay, what does it matter? Now you're thinking about it, and that's really the highest form of tzedakah. It's giving your body part to somebody else. There are 1,000 donors of kidneys in the whole of Israel. 8 of point whatever 9 million people. 9 of them live in Chalutza. Chalutza is a place of 2,000 people. It's crazy. So first, Chalutza is an incredible place. Okay, it was a desert that was nothing and disgusting, and I mean nothing in Israel is disgusting, but you stand here and you say, what the heck can grow here? A place that was never been developed, lived in before. In 2005, when me and my family were kicked out of our homes from Gush Katif, for my father and my mother, it was the second time after they had to leave Sinai. And the government had the plan to build this area. Nobody ever thought that anything can grow here, but the government thought that their number one strategic plan is to develop this area because of the location, where it's the triangle border with Gaza, Israel, Egypt. A place that was the number one place for a smuggling of weapon, women, drugs, and all the illegal immigrants would come from here. Where there was a big issue in Israel back in 2005. It only started then, until Israel obviously built the border because we are here. And then 15 families from my former community decided to, hey, the government threw us out. Okay, they're offering us, prime real estate location in the center. Let's go and build Israel. Let's go. And we asked the government for the next national mission. Government said, we want you to go to Chalutza. We said, okay, we're going. And the government said, no, just kidding. Maybe you want to go to the center where we prepared you. This is our national mission, but no, you don't believe anybody will actually succeed. we said, we don't want to go where it's already built. We want to continue and build our homeland, which is, it's crazy to even think about it, because our homes were packed in a container, and our life has just been in a way destroyed. But we went with lots of ruach to continue in a Zionistic dream of building Eretz Israel, and we came here to Chalutza, where there was nothing but heat and sand and flies, many flies, and we started building here. And today, Chalutza, I call it a modern day miracle, no less. When you see the videos today and you see somebody standing in the middle of the sand, Rabbi Rafi Peretz, he's standing, like, I'm moving my mechina. You see his video, I can send it to you. I'm moving my mechina to Chalutza. It's behind him, nothing. One day it's going to be green. I know I sound crazy, but one day it's going to be green. And it did sound crazy. And to think about it, that today, Chalutza is a makav of three beautiful communities, Shlomit, Naveh, Bnei Netzarim. Rabbi, when the next time you come, Bezrat Hashem, my house will be built and finished, because right now I'm sitting in, you see, this is a trailer. It's a piece of paper. So it will be built, and then my dream of, building my home here will be complete. So that should happen then at the end of the summer. If you ask my wife, you're gonna live one day in Chalutza, she will tell you never. And now she's like the head of like 5 committees here, and she just finished being the head of the Yom HaAtzmaut committee, the big ceremony that took place 5 hours ago, and she's in love with it, because it's addicting. It's addicting because the people are happy, and you're in a motion of always doing and building. Jewish National Fund here is by far our biggest partner. JNF for us, I always say, it's not an organization that built things here. It's our partner in building Eretz Israel. It started so in day one, and it continues. There are many organizations that their first rocket falls, they call, "Hi, Yedidya, do you need anything?" We say, yeah, we need many things, always. We're building Eretz Israel. It's not for us. It's for building Haaretz. And then the next day, they disappear. So Janet for us is our partner in building this area. We're working on building a community center. We're building a swimming pool. We're continuing to expand our services on our medical center, our fire department. All these things are things we're building not because just we want to, because our vision is to bring this area to 15,000 people. Because our cousins on the other side of the border see what's going on here. And for our cousins from the other side of the border, this is the best answer for terror. When they see the big Israeli flag, going in the wind, and lots of smiles, and lots of kids running in the JNF park that we built here, and at the daycare center, and the kindergarten, all these things that we're building here, this is our answer to terrorism. This is our continuation. This is what our heroes, our 23 or 28, 1,000 heroes who gave their life, this is our answer. When they see that we continue to build and don't get stuck in Tel Aviv, don't get me wrong, I love Tel Aviv and I love Yerushalayim, they're great, they're the best places for me to visit, but this was already established in 1948. This is establishing today. Today it's sand dunes, tomorrow it's a park. Today it's sand dunes, tomorrow is another 5 homes. This is the building of Eretz Israel that continues here from bar and desert to homes. It's easy to go, I could have picked up and stay in the center. Why did I come here? Why did I and continue to give everything that I have? Because at the end of the day, our homeland was not built on it was given to us on a silver platter, a lot of it, but somebody had to sacrifice so much, of his comfort and his sweat and tears and blood to do, so we have it. So now it's my duty to continue and build it for the next generation, because soon, everybody's gonna come to Israel. So we gotta have a place for you.
So I can tell you, for me, and I know for others, this has been so extraordinary. You are articulate and passionate and inspirational. And I got to tell you, this has been a very meaningful evening of reflection, appreciating the life of a soldier, the leadership of a soldier, and the legacy of a soldier, your best friend and your family member, and the other, so many who gave their lives and who serve with distinction today. And you're still a soldier and serving where you are and building from your trailer and building your home and building from the sand dunes and giving green and giving life to that part of Israel is what gives us the strength to just be with you and to support you and to support each other. And I guess I'll just leave you with one last thought, which is, you know, your representative from Chalutza here in Boca Raton is Jerry Abramson. And you should just know that I get videos, whether it's broccoli or the parks, I get like updates, like daily updates. But here's the best part of it, you know, which is unbelievable. And I really mean this, that everybody's got to see this. We have a concept in Chazal, Eino Daima Shmiya L'Re'iyah, to hear about it and to see it are two totally different things. Like what you can see, it's literally like spellbinding. It's unbelievable. It's literally remarkable, nisim v'niflos, miracles in our day. But you know what I used? Jerry came to me with an etrog, with an esrog. Like, where do you have an etrog that you can have from, I used this year an etrog from Chalutza. So I was connected to you. Jerry represents Chalutza so beautifully. You should be very proud of him, as we are. And the fact that we were able to have tonight and to be with you, I can't tell you enough, not only how much we honor you and appreciate you and all of those for whom you represent, your family and your community and the 3 subdivisions. And Admat Kodesh, you are truly, truly a hero to all of us. And the memories and the reflections that you've shared are with us by extension. And so with that, I know the hour is late. I can't in good conscience keep you up any later. I appreciate you so much staying up and giving us so very much to make our Yom HaZikaron memorable and meaningful. We wish you a Yom HaAtzmaut Sameach, a beautiful celebration of Israel's 73rd in the year of independence. We should all merit to be able to share and to celebrate everywhere. Israel, Eretz Yisrael, together with Geula, Bimheira v'yameinu amen. Yedidya, thank you so much. And thank you to your Eshet Chayil. Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yom HaAtzmaut Sameach.
Yom HaAtzmaut Sameach to you. Thank you so much. Thank you, JNF. Thank you, Lee. Thank you, Jerry. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. I wish everybody a wonderful evening. Laila Tov, Shabbat Shalom. Yedidya, I love you. Sending you love from Boca Raton.
Love you too. Thank you.
Lots of love. Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful and blessed night.